This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by All-Star Vacation Home. And you know, there's nothing really that an All-Star Vacation Home doesn't have in it. In fact, I'm going to put it up to Len. Give me a random word here, and I will describe to you why an All-Star Vacation Home is the perfect vacation home for you. Give me a word.
Coffee.
Coffee. Perfect. That was easy. Come on. You've got a coffee maker in their own full kitchen at an All-Star Vacation Home, and in there you can make coffee every day. In fact, not that cheap Nescafe stuff. You can get your own, the good stuff. Bring it with you, and you'll have it right there every morning in your full kitchen. Check out All-Star Vacations online at www.allstarvacationhome.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes, and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, April 10th, 2009, and this is episode 550 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hodgeberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Welcome, Len.
May the force be with you, Matt.
And with you as well.
And also with you.
And also with you.
And he's not even Catholic.
I know. It's sort of a universal sort of thing, right?
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell from Mouse Radio. And Mike, the other day I had NYPD pizza for dinner.
Oh, how was it?
Oh, very good. Very good.
We have to go.
It was arresting.
Although they changed their name, we should report. It's now NYFP, New York's finest pizza, because I think that lawsuit by the police department.
Yeah, well, when the law comes down on you, I guess, you have to buckle down.
That's right.
Yeah.
And also joining us on today's show is Annette Owens, the manager of customer relations and group services at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hey, happy Easter, everybody. A little early.
A little early this weekend. And on today's show, we're going to be talking, listening rather, to one of our listeners called in with his trip report. And you know what? You can call in too. What we're looking for is people to call in after their trips to Walt Disney World and kind of give us a quick synopsis of, what worked and what didn't work. Kind of, some things that were surprising, for good or bad, and kind of give us some things that are different this trip for you, and comment on it. So without further ado, we're going to listen to our listener, and then we're going to comment on what he had to say. So hit it, Mike.
Hey, WDW Today. This is Gordon. I'm calling on behalf of the Harvey family of Alabama with a trip report. I'm the guy who does RunToDisney.com, the running podcast and stuff. But anyway, we'd been planning to run the Disney Marathon for some time now, so we booked our reservations fairly well ahead, and we dealt with Colleen from MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. So she was very good staying in touch with us, and my wife has become a unofficial personal travel agent for our family. So she and I and Colleen were trading emails a lot to get the most recent deals, and we booked it probably in March or April, and they come out with the New Year deals in November and October. So we were able to stay and get some last minute deals at WDW. And we stayed at Pop Century, also known as Scopa Towers. And we got in on the late on January 7th, and we were going to stay through the 12th. And what we did is recently we've been getting a room off site, off property, to save on a rate, and then we'd move into our room the very next day. And so this year we decided we would get a reservation only room because the deals were pretty good. So we saved money, and we also kept the same room, so we didn't have to pack twice. We also did a fridge swap from the Diz boards. Apparently there's a lot of swapping of appliances going on, so we were able to save $10 a day. If you rented at Disney, that's how much you
There's
pay.
appliance
So
promiscuity
we only pay
going on in
$12
Diz
per week
boards.
to have a fridge, which is really good, especially eating breakfast and in the room before we hit the parks. Now, we stayed in the 60s building in building number 5, and I got a preferred room mainly so I'd be close to the buses for before and after the marathon. And we really don't think there's much point in getting a preferred room other than that, really. The only drawback is that while the 60s building is real close to the lobby, it's also a hike to the car. And so getting anything out of the car, and we drove down, was a pain. And so I'd rather have my car close by. And we decided, we had been a real big Disney transportation fans, but we decided we were going to drive last year to the parks. It was so much faster, and we didn't have to wait in line for the buses. And the only park that just doesn't make sense to drive is to Magic Kingdom, because you have to go to the TTC and then get the monorail or the boat. And the lines, one night we closed the Magic Kingdom down. The lines to go on the monorail to the TTC were incredible. So we just rode the bus, and it worked out well. So we always go in the early New Year too. So we don't bother with spring break. We don't bother with summer. On the 8th, we went to the studios for a rope drop in order to get Toy Story Mania. park crowds were low all weekend, pretty much right on of Lynn's crowd predictor. And Toy Story Mania was great. We all did pretty well. We wish we'd done more research in terms of how to score high points. Generally, what we've started doing is the kids and I will run to a real popular ride like Toy Story Mania, and my wife will take all our park tickets and she'll go get fast passes to Rock and Roller Coaster. So we decide we try to hit the high volume, quick entry rides early on, and they get fast passes to those slower moving rides. And we do the same thing with Epcot. I'll take the kids to Test Track, and she'll go get fast passes to Soarin', and that's kind of early morning strategy. So I stayed a half day at the studios, and then went to the Race Expo and met them later on for dinner at Sci-Fi, which was a little bit disappointing. We wanted to do that for a while, but we really prefer the 50s Primetime Cafe. Much more than Sci-Fi Drive-In, but we've done the Primetime 2 or 3 years in a row. And so Sci-Fi was something we wanted to experience, but I don't know that we'll do it again. It was a little bit disappointing, and the food wasn't very, I don't know, just wasn't, it didn't make it
edible.
worth the effort.
It wasn't very
There's
edible.
also a blue construction wall around the Sorcerer's Hat, and I was wondering if you guys knew what they were doing. Anyway, the next day we went to Epcot, got there before the rope drop. The crowds were still in what I'd describe as maybe the 4 or 5 level. Epcot was very light. And so we were able to ride Test Track 3 times through the standby line in 25 minutes on a Friday morning right after the opening. And in fact, about 90 minutes into the park opening, we'd been on Test Track 3 times and Soarin' once. So the crowds were really good. And we did that, split up strategy where the boys and I will ride Test Track and the wife will go get fast passes to Soarin'. We usually save Spaceship Earth for the evening, but the crowds were so light and the wait was 10 minutes and less, so we did Spaceship Earth that morning and then went back into the World Showcase, which we love to stroll through and take our time. And the boys always get one of the masks or a passport. That keeps them occupied at the KidCot station, so the wife and I can take turns sort of sightseeing through the design and the Imagineering of the World Showcase without getting rushed by the boys. And we've started lunching at Morocco at the Tangerine Cafe.
Oh, yes. Fabulous.
For a counter service price, the lunch that they give you and the food they give you, I think exceeds any other counter service in Epcot. Maybe even in the parks. I'm just not, we're totally sold on Morocco for counter service. And we're real disappointed that the Viking ship was removed. That was a great place for the kids to unwind, and I'm not really sure what they're going to do with that. If you guys have any ideas, let us know. I went through Canada, and I kept thinking about maple syrup for some reason, but I can't remember why. Maelstrom is always a fast pass event. I don't want to stand in line for it, but we like riding it. And we never stay around for the Norway film. I feel badly, but I don't like the way they hold you hostage after you get out of Maelstrom. And I want to go right to the Norway gift shop so I can drop $500 on a Helly Hansen jacket. That's what I want. We ate dinner at Teppanito, the Japanese steakhouse. Everybody enjoyed it. The cooking entertainment was fantastic. And then we did one last ride on Spaceship Earth. Saturday was a short day. Obviously, we went to Animal Kingdom. We considered that a half-day park. We did Everest. I think the longest wait for Everest, up to about 11 or 12, was 30-minute standby. Did the Lion King show, did Dinosaur, did Tusker House for lunch, which is awesome. Fantastic food. The service is great. The food is tasty. And then we all hopped over to Magic Kingdom that afternoon for the Mangello-Apalooza at the Tomorrowland the Terrace Noodle Station. And let me stop to ask, is that place ever open? Do they really ever serve food there? It's always closed. And so we got to see Push, the trash can, give Lou a hard time, got to meet Matt, shook his hand, loved the podcast, snapped a couple of pictures of Push's operator. Guy fits in pretty well. But anyway, we told Matt we love the show and expressed our support for your show, so there's some butt kissing for you. I went back to Pop to get ready for the marathon the next day. And my wife and kids stayed in Magic Kingdom the rest of the day, and they said that the crowd was extremely light and they could ride. It was just essentially just get on, get off for the rides. I saw Matt Lynn at the pre-race gathering at the at the marathon pre-race area about 3 a.m. and we chatted about podcasting and did the marathon. And my wife and kids went to Magic Kingdom to meet us, and they were selling hot chocolate in really small plastic mugs that I've never seen before. They're not the regular mugs you get at the resort. They're kind of fat and short. They had hot chocolate, and they were only $3. And they said one of the cast members said they only bring them out for the marathon.
That's interesting.
did Monday was our last day in the parks, and we did Magic Kingdom, our favorite, and the low crowds got a little bit bigger on Monday, maybe no more than a 6, I would say. And we spent the day riding our favorites, and the kids had been there the past 2 days, so we were able to be kind of leisurely about it. We did Chef Mickey's, and what we advise for Chef Mickey's is to get the last reservation, like an 11:20 Chef Mickey's, and make a brunch out of it because they don't do lunch. But Chef Mickey's the best way, we think, to get to see the big 4 characters. And we love Contemporary Resort. And we like the monorail ride. And we were real fortunate in every monorail ride that we took. We were able to sit in the front, especially the one from Contemporary back to Magic Kingdom. We got sat in the front all the way around the Seven Seas Lagoon, which is a real treat. I just kind of wish they'd clean the windows to the monorail more. That night, we ate at Pecos Bill, which was supposed to close the day before for refurb, but was still open. So we had one last Pecos Bill, whatever you want to call it. That's one of our favorites. And anyway, we stayed in Frontierland for the rest of the night, and were able to ride Thunder Mountain a few times. And we were trying to finish Thunder Mountain before Wishes started, and we got caught on Thunder Mountain going up one of the mountains before, the downhill as the fireworks are going off. It was the most magical moment I think I've ever had at Disney. Was me and my boys on Thunder Mountain as fireworks are going off above us, and I was breaking up, getting emotional. My wife was waiting for us to come out and watch Wishes, and I was wishing she was with us. It was fantastic. And before that, we got to see Spectro Magic, which I think is awesome. We get to see we were the last ride of Thunder Mountain. They were shutting the train down as we got off.
Wow.
And we saw the last bit of Wishes, and as Wishes is ending, I was in tears. My oldest son was in tears. My wife was in tears. Nobody wanted to go home, and so my son and I, my oldest son and I, Preston, held hands as we walked out of the Magic Kingdom that was empty, and we cried a little bit. And it was probably the most magical experience I've ever had in a Disney park.
Well, I want to thank Gordon for that terrific call. Great call. I mean, you don't even have to go into quite as much detail as Gordon did, which is great anyway. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about things here. I made some notes over here. I'm sure you guys have some notes as well. What is a fridge swap? I pride myself on going online and reading stuff online about Disney World. I've never heard of a fridge swap. I've heard of other kinds of swaps. In fact, we've talked about it on the show a time, but I've never heard of a fridge swap. Well, more power to you, Gordon. Feel free to write us back and tell us exactly what it is. Yeah, one thing he mentioned was there's really no point to a preferred room, and that's something I think we've talked about on the show a couple different times. And that's, that you get, basically, for those who aren't aware, there are certain rooms closer to the main building, especially at the Valley Resorts, where you get charged more to be closer to the main building over there, and it's usually about $10 a night more, or about, right, Annette? That's usually they're going
10 to 15, something like that.
The funny thing is, I mean, Gordon, and I did meet him in the pre-race for the marathon. He's running 26 miles. What's the extra 50 yards? Block. I mean, it doesn't. He's right. It totally doesn't make any sense. I'm totally with him on this.
Yeah. Generally speaking, I just don't think it is. You look at the map and it looks like a big deal, but I think when you're actually there, you realize that it's really not that big of a deal at all for most resorts.
Especially if you have a car. Especially if you have a car, because his point is very, very good. Right on the money. You're going to have to walk to the car.
And not to mention, there's also usually buildings that are, if you ask for a specific building like All-Star Sports, Newell and I always stay at Touchdown because it's not a preferred building, but it's very close to the main building and the buses, so that if you need to go get a snack, it's not a far walk at all. So if you plan it a little bit, you'll be able to get around it. So great call on that, Gordon, and hopefully you won't waste your money on future ones on that. Gordon mentioned that he was riding Toy Story Midway Mania and didn't know anything about getting the good points on there. I just want to mention that I actually do have a link on StudioCentral.com where I've accrued all the little secrets to it. So if you want to really do well, I'll put a link in this episode's show notes. You can go check that out at www.today.com, assuming that Aqua Viola reminds me to do that. Really agree with him. And Len, you were right there with me, I think, is the sci-fi sucks.
Hey.
Yeah.
We mentioned on many episodes that we're not fans of the sci-fi, and Gordon, I think, said the exact thing that we always say: food wasn't that good, and it was kind of expensive for what you get. So
those things like you have to try like every 3 or 4 years, just to see if anything significant has changed. But again, it's really hard because of the way Disney runs the restaurants for restaurants to make substantial changes without there being a menu or chef or theme or some other major change.
Yeah, absolutely. Gordon wanted to know about why there was a working on the Sorcerer's hat over there, and that was because Gordon and me maybe figured this out by now. They were simply just repainting the hat. It's something they do every couple of years, and it actually looks very nice now. I mean, the color definitely fades in the Florida sun, so that's what they were doing while you were there. Len, if there was one theme, I think, to Gordon's call, it was simply that he mentioned it many, many, many times, and that's the low crowds that he encountered on his trip. And I don't know about you, Len, but I mean, when people say, it's not so bad, or, going during the busier times of the year, or it's the only time I can go, or whatever it may be. I mean, really, when you hear what Gordon was talking about, riding Test Track and Soarin' a couple times in the first hour of the park being open, and really, he never really mentioned any crowd issues at all. I mean, that's really how Walt Disney World is meant to be experienced, wouldn't you say?
It is, actually, especially when you look at the crowds this week, 170 minutes for Space Mountain and stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, in fact, earlier this week, even before Easter, the Magic Kingdom closed, did a partial close, where basically only annual pass holders and resort guests could stay in. And even the studio's parking lot filled up this past Tuesday. So, when you hear about these low crowds, and obviously you always have pretty good weather in January. Mm-hmm. The marathon weekend was great weather, in fact. That's the beautiful time of the year, and I really, I can't emphasize that enough about what Gordon was just, kind of reiterating that just how great it is to be going during the off season and take advantage of those low crowds. So clearly Gordon had a great time, and I think the low crowds always helps when you know that you don't really have to worry about being very, very stringent on your touring plan, and you can take things easy. It's a great feeling, I'm sure.
Isn't it nice?
Oh yeah.
So that's the theme you got. The theme I got.
What's that?
His poor wife is running all over the park to get fast passes. That's the theme I got.
Gordon is a lucky man. Lucky man.
Yeah, exactly.
You're lucky because
I noticed that he mentioned it twice, which I thought was pretty funny.
And notice, to me it seems like he said it like 12 zillion times.
But isn't that a mark of a loving, caring wife? I mean, to me, nothing says "I love you" like
fast passes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll run around and get fast passes for you.
Nice.
Let's not talk about that.
Len, do you want to comment a little bit about Gordon's comments about what a great value the Tangerine Cafe in Morocco was?
I thought it was too. And it's funny because Gordon mentioned eating there. I ate there before the marathon too, which is hysterical. Yeah. Didn't remember we all ate there for lunch. I loved it. In fact, the other day I was in a couple weeks ago. I was in DC, and we passed by a Lebanese restaurant, and they had hummus. Hummus,
if you want to be correct.
Hummus.
That's right.
And I was like, the last time I had that was in Walt Disney World. I mean, it was fabulous. I mean, the restaurant wasn't open, so we didn't get a chance to go in. But I thought that was great. I mean, we had lamb and chicken. It was great. I would definitely go back again.
Absolutely. I love Tangerine Cafe. Newell, have you eaten there yet?
No, I've never been there.
You got to go, Mike. It's good.
Well, there's always something to look forward to.
Absolutely. He mentioned that he had met me at Lose Me, which is also very nice. And he met Len. Where did he meet you exactly?
We met in the pre-race area for the marathon. He was part of the DisneyRunning.com group, so they all had on orange shirts. They were really easy to spot. It's funny too, though, because I had found, along with Gordon, I found a couple of other folks, Lynn and Scott, who were members of DisneyRunning.com, and they had also done they were one of the first people to do the Ultimate Magic Kingdom touring plan for us back in the day, like in 2005. So it was really good to see them again. So the DisneyRunning.com people generally wear orange, bright orange shirts with blue lettering.
Cool. And
they're a fabulous community. I mean, I've talked to them during my races because when I run, it's so slow that I can have entire conversations. Hey, I can have entire relationships with people in the time it takes me to complete a race. So a great group of people. So Gordon, I talked for a long time about it. He's he does the podcast and everything, and I thanked him for that. And it was a lot of fun. We sat and talked for about 20 minutes.
Absolutely. But Len, 2005 is back in the day.
It is. That's old school, man.
Okay. An idea that Gordon mentioned I thought was great, and we mentioned it from time to time, but I'm sure our listeners can pick up on that. And that's that he scheduled the last possible ADR for breakfast at Chef Mickey's, so he got basically breakfast and lunch And you can do that at a number of different restaurants. Trails End, you can also do that at. And it's a great idea. I mean, you get to, go up there for one round, and that's generally your breakfast round. And by the time you go for your second one, generally speaking, they've got lunch out for you. So it's a nice little change of pace. I think what a lot of people happen is they'll go up to a buffet, enjoy the first round, but, say kind of, it'd be nice to have something different. And you'll definitely get a variety that way. So great idea over there.
I think somewhere in another universe, Mike Scopa is saying, "I told you so."
And Newell, I heard you crying a little bit when he was recalling his story on Big Thunder Mountain and hearing wishes.
I had the same experience, and it is really, really cool. If you could time it right, it's really amazing. And it was raining actually when I did it too, so I had fireworks and rain. But it was still really cool. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Any other thoughts from any of you from what Gordon was saying?
I thought it was a great letter. Great letter.
Yes. Dear
back in the day, in 2005, we had letters.
Putting quill to parchment.
To whom it may concern.
Which one of us is drinking again? I thought it was fabulous. I think, I really like these call-ins. I think they're great. And the interesting to me is to see what other people consider, the other observations that people make and what's important to them. It's really interesting because it's another perspective besides the stuff that we typically emphasize.
Absolutely. Well, don't forget, you can also leave your thoughts. I mean, you could be just like Gordon here and some of our other callers like KevBot who called in a couple weeks ago. Just give us a call at 407-278-5939 and leave a voicemail there with your thoughts and about, what worked, what didn't work. Again, you don't have to go crazy with it. Just, hey, we ate here and this was good, and we ate here and, oh, boy, that was bad. And kind of tell us why everything, why it was good, why it wasn't that great. And, we'd love to hear from you. So definitely 407-278-5939. And don't forget that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by All-Star Vacation Home. And All-Star Vacation Home is a great partner of ours. They provide some great vacation homes that we all really love to enjoy. Woo-hoo. In fact, it's so good. Let me give you an example of why this is so good. This is a little inside, but you know what? It's worth it to get you an idea of why we like All-Star Vacation Home so much. We're always trying to think of ideas to do to do live shows at an All-Star Vacation Home because we love it really so much over there. And any excuse to get into one, we're always pestering Sarah with ideas. And we love it over there. So it really, we wouldn't be saying if it wasn't true, because they are really wonderful homes. So definitely check them out. Visit their website, in fact, at www.allstarvacationhome.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Lantesta, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.